Well, on Wednesday, most economists expect the Fed to announce 0.75 increase. That happened maybe yesterday. Yeah, that's tomorrow.
Okay.
Short-term rate, that means all your increase in credit card rates, that's going to be certainly a thing. Are we in a recession? The commentator for Young Voices, one of them is Eric Peterson. Tell people what Young Voices is, Eric.
Young Voices is a group that promotes young people with a free market perspective to do excellent things like a radio show or get their articles published.
Gotcha. Okay, so are we in a recession? Are we going to be in a recession? What do you think it means?
Yeah, I mean, we haven't seen the economic growth data for the second quarter, but all indication looks like that we will certainly be in a recession. We are also dealing with, inflation that is above 9% over the last year. That said, the labor market continues to be strong. There's still twice as many job openings as there are people looking for work. So we are likely in a recession, but not a recession that we've seen the likes of in a long period of time.
Okay, tell me, because you sound like a smart young guy, what happened to the workers? I mean, what happened?
Yeah, it's a real conundrum right now. A lot of people, I think, just took a look at the situation they were and decided they wanted to stay home, educate their kids, or you had a lot of folks that were, maybe you're going to hang out in the labor force for 3 or 4 more years, and then COVID hit. They had to go work from home and decided that they were just going to take an early retirement. And, despite, strong wages and high inflation, there just hasn't been enough to bring a lot of these people back into the job market.
All right, so they're hanging. I still don't get it, because if gas is $5 or $6, I don't know how you hang when chicken's $4 a pound. I mean, I don't understand it. I really don't. So if they don't want to work, I get it, but they might have to work. And then if we hit a recession, doesn't that mean there's going to be job openings, even more than we have now, and it's going to be harder to get a job?
So job openings are going to be up there. The recession, I don't think, will change job openings all that much. It might actually slow them down because folks will be less interested to hire because that cost to borrow money will increase. So expanding your business is going to be more expensive than it would otherwise. The real question is, do wages, raise enough to keep up with inflation, or even outpace inflation? And that is what it might take to bring people back off of the sidelines and back working, which of course will help with inflation and our GDP, because you have more people working. That means they're producing more stuff.
Maybe they're just freaking out because of COVID. Maybe they don't want to touch anything. I mean, there's a small percentage of folks that just are going to wear a mask forever, and that's their business. But maybe they're just not going to get over COVID.
Yeah, there's been pretty massive changes to how we work. Whether you're working from home, what the office looks like. Some people might have moved away from where the jobs are, right? Because they're moving out of urban centers to more of the country. Because they wanted more space and land. And those are all things that, were massive disruptions to the labor force and where people needed to be and how people were getting to do work. And again, you saw a lot of people, even to this day, right, continue to say, I'm just going to retire earlier than I was planning on anyway, and they have not come back in the labor force.
Yeah, and I think, too, and again, this is a generalization. There's some wonderful people that work for the government, but there's a whole lot of people, there is no urgency. And you're just not going to get the great service that sometimes private provides. That's my opinion. But not all cases. Most cases, 5 o'clock comes, the government worker's out the door no matter what the job is. It doesn't matter. They'll do it tomorrow. And I think the private industry will stay till 5:30 to fix stuff. And I think there's that kind of the slower feel of getting things done because your deal is different. You think that's true?
Yeah, I mean, I think so. But if you look at where the job openings are, a huge swath of it is in that private sector. And the private sector has just had a real struggle, bringing people off on that comment. Again, I'm down in New Orleans and I saw some fast food restaurants advertising $18 an hour to start because they couldn't get enough workers to come in, and the restaurants had to be closing early. And these are just things that put pressure on supply chains, put pressure on businesses to bring in the workers that they need in order to get the job done.
Everybody's goal is to get to the government job because it is better, it pays more, has more benefits. But I just don't think the urgency is ever there in that particular culture. That's why if I owned a Burger King, Eric, I'd be the guy making your Whopper. That's how it would work right now.
Yeah, I mean, I certainly think the incentives are different for government work versus that private sector. That profit motive is, of course, very, very strong in that private sector.
Yeah. A challenge out there. Eric Peterson, commentator for Young Voices. How do people connect with you and Young Voices?
They can find us at youngvoices.org.
Hey, nice meeting you, and thanks for being on.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Betcha. ESPN 93.5. That's Eric Peterson, ESPN.